Hello, Royals. Have a wonderful weekend. What a beautiful Saturday morning. And in case you hear a cat, then you are meeting one of my two cats. She is very fancy, loves to assist to our intellectual debates, and probably is speaking in cat language to her friends, telling them how wonderful it is what we're talking about and learning together. So, I want to invite you today into another immaterial wealth topic, and it is about the anatomy of information. I was inspired to speak about this because I had met a very old acquaintance that loves to read, always has a book in hand, which is a wonderful thing. Yet at the same time, it is very obvious that there is a contrast between what they're reading and who they are, because who they are has just been stable, monotonous, non changing. And so it brings this question to mind of why are you reading if it's not for actual improvement? I was passing by a bookstore once, and one of the books displayed outside said, "If you're so smart, why are you unhappy?" Such a genius title. I don't remember who actually wrote this book. Tell me who it is in the comments because I forgot. But knowledge, the ultimate goal, in attaining it in the simplest form of what you can create for yourself is happiness, right? Fulfillment. And this brings us to a very logical question. If you're so smart, why aren't you happy? Now, intelligence and wisdom are different. Wisdom is intelligence that's been filtered, while intelligence just has no filter. The proof is you could be you can meet intelligent people who are absolutely horrible in their nature. So, what did their intelligence do for them? Absolutely nada, zero, nothing. And then there are people who may not be picking up a book every single day, but when they do read something, they take time to filter. And filtering happens through life when you're paying attention, and it's a long, slow process because to filter any information, you have to live it. You have to have a personal relationship with it, and you have to have the consciousness, which is a very advanced form of intelligence, an aware intelligence, to actually be able to filter. And so many people just simply do not have that quality. And this quality also has very little to do with, linear school systems, meaning if you have a PhD, it doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to filter information. I've just written about that actually because you have to look at the statistics of how many couples get a divorce immediately after couple therapy, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of therapy to begin with. And that is because going for someone that knows how to filter information for you is the luckiest thing you could get to in your life. All of my clients are extremely intelligent people. All of them are well accomplished in whether it's a business or they're investors or, working with governments, very high profiled positions, but they're not necessarily fulfilled, happy, or aware because these have been reserved to a non-linear path of learning, meaning something that is simply not offered in schools. So it's not, if it's not offered in schools, how can you attain it? Well, you don't attain it in a simple minute. It is a life journey. Um, and also to get to someone that can help you become that, that is a journey. You know, the people who get to me, that I'm not the first person they work with. I'm not that person that will be the first person someone works with, because um, it would be hard for them to understand the value of what I offer, even understand what I'm talking about. So the people who get to me are people who have already done more than enough to help themselves and yet have not seen any results. Not internally, maybe a little bit externally, but definitely not enough, neither internally nor externally. And so when they arrive, what I give them is filtered intelligence. So what happens is they start building all these nonlinear connections between all of the information they've received in their lives. And the longer we work together, the more they develop the skill to filter and to see things for what they are. And so this isn't something you pass on in a blueprint. This is something you inspire out of a person. This is a skill that they have to acquire by learning from how you do it directly, right? It is that rare. And so you can think of it a little bit like cooking. A lot of the women have the recipes. All the recipes are free online. But not all the recipes are telling you the secret. They always leave out these one ingredient or that one technique that actually makes the dish magical. And so if you were to keep trying these recipes, you're wasting resources, time and effort. And the more you try, the more you get convinced that maybe cooking just isn't for you, or maybe you just haven't landed on the right recipe. And you don't want to continue wasting time, energy, and resources learning this recipe. And so the shortcut is someone that has the recipe and does not keep the secret from you. That is what I call filtering. So they give you the filtered information, meaning they give you the full recipe with the secrets. They filter out all the steps and the things that are actually not necessary to make it work. And so that's why this metaphor of recipes is actually wonderful, because it's true. Try to get an Italian lady to pass on an actual secret family recipe for pizza. You'll never see that. You'll never see it. It's passed down to direct lineage because it's considered extremely valuable, like heritage. Now imagine this is just cooking. This isn't something that will change your whole life. This isn't something that will make you a different person at identity root level. It will have no impact on your wealth or health or happiness or wisdom, the HW, which is the pillars of our immaterial wealth advisory. And so now you probably see very clearly that the anatomy of information requires a nonlinear path. It requires intangible assets you weren't even aware of. It's not about just consumption of more information. It's not going to do much for you. It is about manifesting the correct path that leads you to the type of people who will pass on filtered, secret information. I am Dr. Eman Bensalem, and this was a short conversation about information and its anatomy. You can find me on Instagram and follow my page. You can also just reach out by email if you have any questions or you're interested to know more. It always makes me happy to find out who's reading and who's listening. And within our Immaterial Wealth group, we have two agencies, which is Rebirthology, is where we focus on core identity change for high performers. And Category of One business is our specialty in the feminine career blueprint for corporate dropout women building fabulous things. Now, you can go find me on Instagram and connect. Have a wonderful day. And I hope this live stream is going to leave you with some reflection about what information you're consuming and whether its impact on you is visible or absolutely not visible. Goodbye, Royals. Speak to you very soon again.